Hello guys, today I want to take a look at some stocks and charts together. I've actually opened this news page from TradingView. Um, I'm going to take a look at the three things that I actually got interested in. The three news. One of them was Ethereum, which I want to take a very quick look. um, it is saying that actually Ethereum has added entry point, an improvement that allows wallets to function as a smart contracts. So this is actually providing some new features for this cryptocurrency, and it seems so promising. So I'm going to jump into the chart to take a look at that. Of course, what I'm always doing is that trying to analyze the charts with technical analysis with price action method. So I'm not going to use a lot of indicators, not trading strategies or something like that. This is just educational content, how we can use technical analysis knowledge via price action method to analyze a chart. And when we want to do that, we need to start with a very empty chart, nothing more, because this is what price action is in the end. So I will start with weekly. I'm not going to take a look at the weekly chart with a very long history and behind, because it doesn't really make sense. Each candle is representing 1 week. It's a bigger scale, but it is always nice to have a good view of what was the history. Then when we jump into the details, we have some background. So enough talking. Let's start. When I'm looking at the just few last waves here, I can see one bullish impulsive wave to the top, and it seems that the return it is some sort of a correction because it didn't actually completely return to the previous point that the wave started. So I can utilize the uh, Fibonacci levels retracement to check it out. If I want to point out, okay, if it was the first of the wave, which is actually makes sense. Um, Or maybe I can come a little bit down. Maybe this is the lowest point that the wave just started. I can see that yes, it's the correction just reacted to this level, the 78 percentage. It is a very huge correction. Usually correction, the golden ratio is 61.8 percentage. Anyhow, I guess this is enough for the weekly view. I'm going to just point this level out with some sort of a rectangle that it's showing me this was a very strong support level. I will get rid of this one quickly. And also, when we talk about corrections, we know that we have several sort of corrections, but it seems that it was an ABC, very regular pattern that I can just show you here. Let's make the color something more visible. Also, this is an intermediate. Okay, now it's much better. So we can see we had one impulsive, according to Elliott's wave theory. One, two, three, four, five. This was the five waves that we had that impulsive. And ABC or 1, 2, 3, but we don't say it 1, 2, 3. It isn't. If we call it ABC as the correction. So here is the correction of that wave. For week, I think it is enough for weekly. We don't want to dive into many details here. Let's jump to daily. Let's just zoom out a little bit to see what we're going to see. Okay, the most interesting thing is that just came into my mind is that this ABC pattern, we know that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as A, impulsive, ABC as B, because it's a correction. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can almost see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And 1 A, B, C. Let's just see the details of this A, B, C as well, because we are just trying to analyze the things as educative content. We are not, I'm not actually sharing this as a trading signals or anything like that. So I felt that I feel that it might be helpful if we want to uh, pay attention to waves. So this is ABC, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, somehow 5. This is so interesting. So this somehow 5, it is important. Let me also just look at these A, B, 1, 2, sorry, 3 above this shadow, and somehow 4, which I will come back to it, and the 5. So this C is in the end, uh, this big C, the intermediate, it is also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you look at these two, it is a very short wave, but it is zigzag. You can almost see A, B, C here. But the most important thing in impulsive waves is that when we have a zigzag or a very sharp correction, which which the most famous is zigzag, the fourth wave, it is going to be a side wave correction. The side wave correction, we have several types, but here I can see some sort of descending triangle. So I can show you like this. This is going to be our triangle. Let's call this sideways correction and descending triangle, which is really uh, interesting to look at because uh, always we are not expecting, according to Elliott theory, we are not expecting that both two and four waves as correction of one impulsive big wave to be both zigzag or side wave. If one of them is zigzag, for example, the one of them, the first one, for sure, the second wave, the for sure we are expecting to be some sort of a side wave correction. Side wave correction are usually take longer, and they are going to be some sort of a range market. As you can see here, the price just went up, came back to the same level at the end of the wave three. Again, it went up, come back to the same almost zone, again went up. These kind of side waves, which took longer to happen. Price is not in a hurry. Price actually stay in this in same level almost for a longer time in comparison to that very sharp zigzag. For example, here we can see that this was very fast zigzag in, in, in the previous bigger scale B wave. Anyhow, we have a good understanding. Let's just jump into the next, where we are also some sort of a range market, right? So after this correction is done, we are actually encountering a very, very range market. Let me try to fetch something from it by drawing some trend lines. Okay, we had some descending trend line after this descending trend, and it broke, but it doesn't seem that to be so powerful. Also, I really don't like this trend line. It is not so much valid because when you draw trend lines, you should not skip these kind of empty spaces here. These are not going to be so valid. So if I want to make or draw a more valid trend line, now it makes more sense, right? You can see we have 2 points that connected, and also we can see a breakout, and we have several retests on that. So it is showing us a more valid because price is really reacting to this line. As I said, just doing something like that, missing some higher highs when you're or lower lows, um, or any critical reversal points in inside your channel. So it is not going to be a very, it is not in the end brings up a valid trend lines for you. Anyhow, and this trend line also has a really low angle, it is almost horizontal. Trend lines usually should have more angles. I don't call this a trend line. So let me remove that as well. And let me try to draw a resistance level, something like that. Now I have a better feeling. Let's also extend it here. I know that it is not really nice to when you look at it because you're seeing uh, some sort of just breakout here. But this is this can be usual. Let me first draw some arrows here. I have several points with some distance here as well. Also some points here. We can extend this a little bit. It actually makes more sense. Let's make it more accurate here. Now we have some points. I will fulfill it with some arrows. I think that's enough for here. You can see how much price actually made reaction to this zone. You have another one here. But what about this one? This is actually, we call it fake out. Sometimes we think that price or sorry, a resistance level or support level, it has been broken. But actually it might be sometimes some emotions in the market, so they don't necessarily, if they when they pass it, will be a breakout, because uh, as you see, it with a very huge red candle, it returned back to the channel and also remains in that channel for a long time. It's it is indicating that this range channel, or anything you call it, sometimes you call it flat when it is flat is one of those other sideways corrections. When we encounter this thing, we can see that it is still valid. So this is a fake out, and we should. It has its own characteristic. We should not say, okay, this is not a valid resistance zone because it has been already broken. No, it was not actually a breakout. It wasn't. It was a fake out, which happens when news just comes up or some sort of emotion in the market. So we need to pay attention to that. Also, let me just draw some um, arrows here for our very strong support zone. We know that it was 78% of the Fibonacci retracement for the weekly uh, from the weekly view. And also I can see when that C wave here, it's done, we are seeing a triple bottom. And this is very well known pattern for reversals. As you can see, after this wave three just ended, it creates a triple bottom, and after that it will reverse up. So what we are seeing from the daily view is completely a range channel. That price is going up and down between two support and resistance zones, which these two zones are very strong. If I want to extend this, I really don't want to mess the chart up, but I can arrow a green line here for this part as well. But let's not do that. I want to make it as neat as possible, or keep it as neat as possible at least. Um, so here we have that for the daily. Mm, Anyhow, so for very good information, we have a very good view. Um, I wanted to offer promotion for channel viewers, followers, chatbots, surprise. Okay, thank you very much. Um, I would be grateful. I don't know. Maybe I need to somehow close the chat because really don't want to. get these kind of messages. I really want actual viewers that are interested to my channel look at these things. But anyhow, thank you for your message. Let's continue. It is enough for daily view. I guess we need to jump into more details in hourly view to understand, okay, in the end, what is the situation? What is the current future in the short term, medium term, or long term for these cryptocurrency, which is one of the most famous ones. Now with this, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, if I want to take a look at this final impulsive wave when it in the end reach out to this level and starts actually raising up to the top of the channel, I can see, as you're seeing, it was also visible in daily. If I go back just a few moments again here, I can see some sort of triple top here as well. As you can see, price has been reacted to these three top this resistance zone. As you can see, it is the same concept, the same um, actually of uh, mindset idea that the triple bottom has, that when uh, the price reaches three times to the level and reverse, we call it triple top on resistance, and it is indicating a reversal, as we saw, for example, a triple bottom here, and we saw a reversal to top. So this is one of the indication that it might be a reversal here. We have reached this, and we are not expecting these to be just a break. So that's one indication. Let me try to draw some sort of a trend line to see if I can do something here. If I can draw something like that, and sometimes I'm also interested in draw some sort of things like this here, a trend line at the top of a bullish trend. If I take a closer look at this is also a pattern called rising wedge. I can clarify it by add a call out here, rising wedge. The rising wedge actually is some sort of bullish trend or bullish wave that at the end, the speed of that, it just gets slow. So that's why you can see the lower trend line and the upper trend line, there's some sort of symmetrical. So if I continue, if these lines continues, they will some very soonish they will connect and they will broke each other. So this is actually saying us that okay, this is a rising wedge, and we can see, more importantly, we can see a breakout here, that it was, yeah, it is a daily chart. A few days ago, it just broke with a very strong bullish candle, and more importantly, after breaking, it also remains broken for more few days. If I now jump into the hourly view, just let's fix it. Okay, we have this rising wedge, the big rising wedge here. So those triple top, that was one of the indications that for the reversal. We are seeing the rising wedge. That's a second indication. I'm seeing that this trend line just broken. Uh, the hourly view, it is almost a better view for that. I can actually makes it like this. Now we have 1, 2, 3, and it is like a support zone, like the zones that we uh, used to draw. I can also draw these green arrows here that it just reacted to that, the same as these ones, but above that resistance level we have that already, and then a breakout. So this time with that very strong bearish candle, sorry, we have this breakout. So this is the third indication that okay, this rising, this impulsive, this bullish, it is done. We are seeing some sort of um, reversal here. I can also I sometimes utilize the MACD indicator. That's the only indicator that I'm interested in. As I said, I'm not going to use indicators when I'm analyzing the chart because this is not the way we do it in price action. So the most important thing, the interesting part is that I'm seeing a very strong divergence here. Let's clarify that. Okay, it's a very strong divergence. If you don't know really what is that, this is happening when price is continuing to move, uh, moving the same trend. Here is bullish, just an uptrend, but we are seeing the completely vice versa situation on MACD. So with this high, we have the biggest high, but for the next high, we have the lower high, and for the again the next after that, which is the top one, we have the lowest high here, and this is indicating of a reversal. So we should this is really important, and this one is very strong. So and this is a force indication that we have first, maybe the fifth indication we have, because it is not about just a breakout of a trend line. It is, in technical analysis, you need to confirm one action or one event with several point of views. In from the several point of views, they need to confirm each other in the end for you to, in the end, uh, come up with this decision. Aha, the trend is done. It is a reversal, or vice versa. The trade is not done. It is going to be continued. So for the first thing first is that the price has been reached to a very strong resistance level. The second is that it has created a triple top. The third is that we have a rising wedge. The fourth is that this rising wedge, it has been broken and also stays below, not just a fake out, it stays below the chart. And the fifth indication is this strong divergence on MACD. Going back to the hourly, so now we are actually, with all the things, we have the indication, and when in the inside the channel we reach top of the channel or the bottom part, we are expecting that these just reverse to the another one. So now we're expecting to be reached here, and here we have a very nice, even if in the news it was a very promising news, which I guess maybe it was somewhere around this candle. But anyhow, it just returned because it's a very, very new news. And what I'm expecting is that still, if it was a very positive news, but I'm seeing it as a very short-term news that impacted the price. It creates some stop to this bearish trend, but I'm expecting that this trend line here, uh, which has 4 points, I can go to 2 hour or 1 hour to see more details, but I guess it is enough. We have 4 points here that it makes this very valid. Also, I can see, very important to mention, that we have some sort of retest here anytime that price breaks any structure here, which it was a rising wedge, or if you don't, if you are not interested in that rising wedge, we at least have this trend line, and it has been broken. You can see after the breakout, we are going to have a retest, but after that retest, it didn't continue, came return back. So this is the indication that it is not a fake out as we saw previously very long ago on the daily chart or weekly chart. So this was a retest to the same level of the breakout. So this was the breakout, almost just a retest to that, confirmed that this was a breakout and return. And you can see it stays again here, not reversing back up to the chart. So after that, I'm expecting these to actually fall down. I don't want to talk about until which level. We can by um, checking out the rising wedge target or by Fibonacci retracement extensions. We can try to recognize when exactly it will be reached. But it is probably the first target will be somewhere around this zone, which is the closest strong support zone. So this will be the first target. We might have a second target somewhere in between, but the main target it is going to be our support level that we found, if you remember, on the beginning of our analysis on the weekly chart. This is the 78.1 percentage of retracement that on weekly it used to be um, corrected to that point. Enough for this Ethereum. So we came into the conclusion, but just be aware that this is just educational. Where this is the signal. You should not just jump and sell these or try to trade on this analysis. It is just an educational. I'm just trying to illustrate how I am at least my personal preferences, how I'm analyzing the chart, how you can utilize technical. This is the most important thing that I want my viewers to take away, how you can utilize technical analysis to analyze the charts and without using huge amount of indicators, without using huge amount of signals coming around, just with a very clean chart, and you try to understand how price is behaving just by looking at the price itself, and just come up with these huge amount of ideas and analysis. Here just we didn't use, just forget about that MACD stuff, but we didn't utilize anything other than that. This is just the how we detected, how we analyze it, uh, uh, without using any indicator or any specific fancy tool around. So go back to the news. I would like to talk about another one. I was looking at these gold news. So it seems that it's actually gold brings back the shine. Usually, TradingView has some kind of uh, important points on the top of the article, but here it is a very short one. Prices of the yellow metal rose on Friday are on track to log their best week since January. So it seems so promising that the gold was so positive, so green on Friday. So let's take a look at the chart. Again, I start from weekly. Let's zoom in a little bit. Not interested to zoom out a lot when it comes to weekly. Just the last few waves are enough. Just double check that I have no drawings with a clean chart. Again, we start here. Um, okay, the first thing is I'm seeing a very strong resistance on the top. Let's just clarify this. I will try to do that with drawing a zone as well as two arrows indicating that we have that zone. Um, I know the history a little bit. This is the toppest price for gold, and the toppest was something with, about 2,000, but it broke recently. Recently, I mean from 2020, and we have this new highest value Um, Let me just also clarify these lower zone. I can see these, and it is so important. Again, let me clarify. These supports and resistance level, they are not just a single point. Yeah, I can remove this zone and just draw a horizontal line and this is exactly a point. But this is not the reality. Support and resistance are not just a point. They or an exact price. They are levels. They are zones. That's why I'm always saying about support zone, support level. It is a price around a number, not exactly a number. That's why I'm interested to draw these kind of zones with not with horizontal line, but with something wider, as you have already seen. But I can see these, I can indicate these 3 points here. I'm there, so it's clarified that we have some sort of a range market here as well. If we just zoom out a little, we just want to clarify, we had this impulsive uptrend, very strong wave from 2015, I guess. Yeah, 16, 15. It started from the beginning of 16, and after that, we need some sort of a correction, right? And this is the correction. This is called flat, as I already mentioned very quickly on Ethereum, that this is going to be our flat. The flat is one of those sideways corrections, and it is usually an ABC. So I can draw these with this is the fifth wave at the end of the fifth wave, the previous impulsive wave. Now I have not one, yeah, ABC. Let's grab the two. This is, I will call it, this is A, this is B, and this is C. Let's change its color to something more visible. Also, this is going to be intermediate. Okay, here we go. And these flats can be sometimes irregular. So if you're still not convinced about the support zone that I'm drawing, this can be an irregular flat. Irregular flats, they might run up above the previous top, or they might run down below the previous low. So this can be a irregular flat, but again, don't want to involve you with such these details. It is enough for us that this is a strong support zone. That will be enough for us. Anyhow, um, after this A, B, C, what I'm seeing that it also reversed to the top. So first of all, I want to know what this A, B, C in flats means. It is like zigzag, but they are moving in a one range structure, as you're seeing on the screen at the moment. But each of these ABCs in a regular zigzag, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when it comes to flat, this ABC is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5. So zigzag is 5, 3, 5, but flat, same ABC with 3, 3, 5. So if I want to now just clarify what I mean in the flat, we have ABC. It is so clear. Let's choose another color, and it is going to minor. So this A itself is one ABC. Also, this B is another ABC. So it starts from here. This is the B, A, B, C. And you might wondering, I really don't want to put B here because it was a very long shadow. It was so. That's why I didn't call this as the final point of the intermediate A. Because I can say that this is the B, but it has some motions, just went down to the support zone and came back. So this is something, doesn't really matter when you put this B in the end. It is one ABC, or maybe even you can put it here and just ignore that long wink or shadow there. But the most important thing that you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for the C, it is so clear that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is our wave. Again, we are talking on this weekly a lot, but because it is so interesting, these kind of wave counting, it is not helping us, to be honest, to recognize, okay, where the price is going to move forward. Is it going to raise? Is it going to same in the same zone here for a long time, or it is going to reverse back? This counting, this stuff is not going to help us to understand that, but it is going to give us a very good view to the history of what was happening, and then when we understand that, we can have a better view and a better conclusion in the end about the current situation in the market. Uh, this I guess it is enough for the weekly. I wanted to point out another thing. Yeah, it is important. Okay. Um, Maybe another time. It is so much theory so far. I want to add another thing as well. If you're interested, because in the end I'm sharing these things as educational. I'm repeating this. I'm going to repeat these as well in the future, because I want to clarify that I'm not sharing any signal, any trading signal. It is just educational content. Um, if you want to know, okay, you can say that, okay, we have this impulsive, we have the completed ABC, and now from this time the goal is going to start a very, very long impulsive move here. So I can draw something like this. Let's just shrink it more. uh, okay, you can say, okay, that was ABC, that was our first wave here, this is our second wave, side wave, and we're going to have a third wave, and the third wave is the most strong wave. That might be true, but finishing this ABC pattern, it doesn't indicate that you're done with the correction. These flats can be doubled or tripled. What I mean, I can grab these AWZ. So this might be, hold this ABC, this might be a W, then here it will be an X and Y. It means that this is going to be okay, I've grabbed uh, not a correct tool. Let me just, with Y is enough. So this is the W, this is the X, and oops, this is will be our X, and then Y. What is that? WY, we know we know that they are actually sitting next to each other, but this X, it's a link. So we have this whole ABC, we call it W. So we are going to see another ABC, we call it Y, but they're going to be connected with each other with X. So this X is a link to have a same structure ABC as Y here. At, so to create a uh, double the top. It is what I wanted you to take away, that it doesn't mean with completing this ABC you are expecting that the prices start just increasing again. What you need to pay attention is that we might see um, some sort of continuation of this range market. And to be clarified, I initially grabbed the wrong tool, but I can utilize it now. We can have WX, Y, another X, and then Z. So we can have triple triple of them, and each of these W, Y, Z, they are going to be ABC. One of these ABCs here, each of them with a link. Each of these links can be 1 to 3. Here can be 1 to 3. And any of these ABCs are going to be 335, like these ABC, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyhow, just a lot of theory, I know. Let's jump into the what we want to take away. Longest story short, we are in a range market. Now we have completed the first thing, first flat. What we know so far is that we are heading to the top. Thus, regardless of it is going to be continued, I can draw another arrow here, or it might be another continuation. We can count it as X, then we can have another Y here playing around in the same range market. We don't know about this yet, but we know that this is the movement. Let's jump into the daily. Having this in mind is really, really important. So I will still try to keep this. I will zoom in a little bit to see more details. This is an interesting thing. Let's restructure this support zone in order to have a better view on this daily chart. What I'm interested in now, it is not just one arrow. I can add two other arrows here. You know this. We just saw it on Ethereum. This is triple bottom. We also have another same, almost the same pattern, double bottom. It should not be always triple. It can be double. But we know, regardless of which one we are seeing on the chart, on the price, it is going to be reversal. So this bearish or this downtrend, when it reaches, it created this triple bottom, it's reversed. And it is also important, you might see, for example, here is a very good example. I said that it can be a double bottom as well. Here we have a double bottom. Let's clarify it for you. This is the double bottom, right? But the price has not been reversed. So by finding some sort of a chart pattern, you cannot immediately say that, okay, this is double bottom, so price is going to jump up to the resistance zone. This is not correct, because these should be combined, as I already mentioned, with another point of view. So I have this triple bottom, but when it has been created on a very strong support zone. So these two combined with each other, which are going to indicate that yes, it is going to be a reversal, but you're not sure. Even if that's the time you're not sure, you can draw this line as a final confirmation. We can have a trend line, and after this triple bottom, you can wait until this breakout happens. When it is done, then you can surely say, almost, not surely, we don't have anything guaranteed when it comes to analyzing charts. Otherwise, everyone were millionaire. But we can almost say that, okay, we have these triple bottom and a very support soon. We are almost seeing a resistance, a breakout here, the trend line. Also, I can see this higher high has been reached here. So when the price is here, I can guarantee, okay, this is the uptrend. So maybe it's a good time to buy. Just wait for some kind of corrections or retest to the structure, and then just get the next wave. As you can see, this was the third wave here, for example. It's much stronger. We don't have third because, as you see, regardless of it might be third, we don't know. But if it is X, it can be ABC. It is not a five various structure, but this wave itself, regardless of if it is an ABC, is this one I mean, or if it is, regardless of if it is going to be an ABC or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the minor waves are going to be 5, 3, 5 or 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. Anyhow, we had what we want to know is the triple bottom, what we are interested to know, and a reversal. And as you can see, this reversal, it seems that to be done. If I actually create a trend line, something like this, you can see a breakout and returns. We need to jump into um, the hourly. We are almost very close to the conclusion because we already fetched a lot of things by analyzing this chart. And now I'm seeing this, I need more details to, in order to be able to draw a better trend lines. So let's get rid of that big arrow. Let's clean up. Always remember, try not to mess up your chart. You always need to understand it because these tools are here to help you to understand, not just to confuse you. Try it. It's a good practice to keep your chart as neat as possible. I can see now, okay, I had a one very complete, obvious impulsive wave after this triple bottom. One, two, three, four, five. And again, one ABC here. Very short double bottom. Not don't look at everything like as these details. I really like to look at these things. I really like to recognize as much as I can. But you really don't know to go all into all these details when you are analyzing a chart for your tradings. But because I'm interested and I want it, when it is not a trading course, it's not a course, it's not a trading streaming. It is just an educational. That's why I'm interested to share these things with you. This is a third wave, and this third wave, or maybe after this correction, maybe this was a five wave or anything like that. What is important that this is also an uptrend, of course, but we call these not a wave like the first wave here. We see this is completely, it is a one, two, three, four, five, but you cannot really see such a thing here. And also remember, a valid impulsive wave is when that the fourth wave, which is correcting here, should not enter the territory of the first wave. So it should not comes down. So if this correction actually came to this level, it enters the level or the territory of the first wave. Then if even it continues to have the same thing, then it is not a impulsive one, two, three, four, five. We are seeing the same thing. Here is not the case, but here in the third wave we can see this. Okay, if it is the first wave, this is second. This is the third wave. The fourth, for example, is come again to enter the first wave. This is what we call diagonal. This is not a regular one, two, three, four, five wave, but this is still an impulsive wave. This is still uptrend, but it is slower. As you can see, with a very lower number of candles, the price have been reached almost half of this wave, but with the huge time in a huge period, it actually reaches the double point. If I say this is the target, here is the median, and here is the beginning, you can see that it took a very long time because it was a diagonal, and the diagonals are really long in comparison to um, the waves. Anyhow, let's just draw some arrows here. You can see I can draw a lot of them here. I can create another one here. I can create another one here. I can create a lot again here, but I think this one is enough. But the most important, so this is indicating that it was a very valid trend line for a long time, but we finally saw a breakout. Again, this is really important because now we are almost very close to the current day and hours. So it was our breakout. The most important thing of that breakout, that if I zoom in more, you can see after the breakout, we had the retest. This is also confirmation that, yeah, I broke it and I confirm it here. It was a retest or confirmation or what you call it. This shadow, I mean, exactly where I'm pointing at, it was in the same level of the broken structure, which was the trend line here. And then it was a very, very important indication that it is going to drop. So we had these breakout and returns. Yeah, but it is obvious. We can already see that it actually dropped down. So we didn't really want to clarify, okay, it was a breakout retest. But it is really important when it was the time. It was when we see these and when the candle is when this candle is the last candle, when we see this retest, we should be aware that, okay, please do not, if you are in a buy setup, you need to be aware that it's time to come out. If you have a plan to buy these, you should be careful and you should not be entered at least. Or if you want to short, go short, or to sell it, okay, it's a time. These are the indications. Let's clean up these things because we already seeing again, it was just for repeating the things for you. Let's remove them. What is important for us that, okay, we had an impulsive wave and some reversal. The first thing, when I'm seeing a correction or reversal after an impulsive, I will immediately grab a Fibonacci retracement to check out, okay, what is the situation? Okay, I can see it is almost 50%, something between 50 and 38, 50 and 38. Here is the thing, because also I'm seeing the 50. I can see some important zones here. Let's get rid of these because it doesn't give us a very good information. But I can see this was our 50. You can see I can draw a lot of red and green arrows along this zone. But anyhow, let's get rid of that because price just reacted period to that. Let's see if we can draw a valid trend line for this. Let's start with this one. Not bad, but I'm still leaving or bypassing empty high there. Now this is much better. This is what I like. I can draw another one. This is going to be look like a channel maybe. These lows here. Oops. Please stay there. Okay. Um, we had some sort of a channel, and this channel is actually our C wave because you know that we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's just started to reverse. And this was our A, this was our B, and this was our C. Why I'm saying it was because I'm seeing some sort of reversal again because it's almost reversed from 38 to 50 Fibonacci levels, and also I'm seeing a breakout. This breakout is more important to us because we know that okay, the correction seems to be done. We know that we had impulsive. We know that it was the finish line. Now we know that that impulsive created a corrective path structure. And now we are also seeing it is done because of the three things. We can see the channel, the down channel has been broken to up, one indication of reversal. We can see that it created an ABC. Instead of talking, let me just also clarify this for you. Also in some sort of Fibonacci level, but not very clear. Also, I can see a double bottom. This is the third indication that, okay, it created this double bottom. Let's grab two arrows here as well. Here we go. So we had that double bottom and now the breakout. And if I draw it a little bit better, you can see that this breakout, if we go into maybe 1 hour or so, you can see some sort of retest as well. Not exactly on the trend line, but have you know that these lines are not at the exact point. I can see a breakout and retest immediately, and it continuing moving forward as an uptrend, going back to 4 hour because it is so much detail in 1 hour. Anyhow, we are seeing a reversal. After all these long stories, if we go back to our weekly chart, if we remember, oops, it's not a very nice view, but if you remember, you can see we have a lot of details here. If you remember, we had one ABC, and we know with that big arrow to the top, we are going to, our target will be at the top in a long term. In a medium term, we had this bearish correction. When we go to the hourly, we can see that bearish correction. It is done, it is broken, and now we are expecting these to actually moving forward in a, again, long term or medium term or what you call it. Anyhow, just be aware that, again, I'm not sharing any trading signal to you. I'm just saying that it might not be the good time, because I can see that also we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that. So I can see some sort of reversal in a very short term. So it is not the time to buy it. If we want to buy it, it might drop or retest the structure before just running up again. But in a medium term, I'm expecting that the gold just start as we had in the news. It started. It had a good Friday. It somewhere here. We can see some big green candles, and it is indicating, yeah, it is so promising. I was not really agree with that Ethereum news, but I'm guessing, yeah, that news, of course, I'm not against it. I'm sure that that's the correct news, but I'm saying that was just a very short-term news that affecting Ethereum to create a correction structure. But now I'm saying that this news is compatible with the whole trend, with the main trend, which is the uptrend in my perspective at least. So I think it is enough for gold. Let's jump into the last news from Microsoft. Act Activision Blizzard shares rise and signs Microsoft deal with Prosit. I really like these key points of these news. Microsoft's Activision Blizzard deal looks like it's about to be approved by EU regulators. So the 69 billion deal still faces. So it is a very positive sign to Microsoft stock. So I got interested when I saw this news. These news are just for creating some motivation for myself to look at those stocks. So when you are doing technical analysis, uh, or playing with charts, you usually don't want to combine this approach with fundamental newsish approaches. Um, but anyhow, I'm always interested to look at some news before jumping into the charts, because I'm not trading. I'm just doing this as educational, or as my interest personally. Coming back again, make sure you have a very clean chart. Continuing with this Microsoft, or finishing up at today's um, content with this Microsoft stock. And also, I'm grabbing a lot of things. I'm grabbing one cryptocurrency in the news, one um, stock in Nasdaq, one indices, gold, for example, uh, because I want to show you that technical analysis is not stick to one thing. I can use these for analyzing forex, for example, as well, or any stock in any country, not just United States. This is going to work everywhere. It is not just limited to these things. I'm also trying to showing these to you. Come back to the Microsoft as our last chart today. Um, Again, what I'm seeing, it's a very, very long impulsive. Oh, it is very long. I'm not interested to look at the retracement because it is going to be a very short um, correction in that case. But what I'm seeing is one bearish movement here, like this. Not again a valid red line, as I already said. Maybe I need to jump into daily to let's skip that until because I need more details when I want to draw this red line. Um, Anyhow, what I'm seeing that after this impulsive wave, I'm some sort of a correction. I have some sort of a correction, and it seems that this correction, you see, we have this lower low and this lower high, lower low again, lower high, and this is indicating a downtrend, a bearish movement, right? Again, a lower low. Here I have a higher low, but I have a higher low. I've not seen a lower low anymore. So by just looking at the wave, we can also see how trends are going uh, to be. And after this higher low instead of a lower low, I'm seeing a higher high. This is a higher high. This is, of course, higher than the previous high. So I had lower high, lower high, lower high in comparison to previous ones, but I have this higher high. This is the first indication of reversal here as well. So this is what I'm seeing. I don't want to say, okay, I'm seeing almost a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, but as I mentioned, you can see this is 2, this is 4, and 4 wave has been entered into the first wave territory. So this is not a valid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive wave. Maybe it was, I can say, because it was an um, um, it is a correction. I know it's a correction. I'm seeing it as a one ABC here. Let's change the color to my own primary. This is my personal preferences and intermediate. Now it's much better. It is enough for weekly. Just go back to the daily, zoom out a little bit to see what I have already done. This A should be a 5 wave. I can almost see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I can see this, if I start from here, this is my first wave, second, third, fourth, and 5. So this is much better. I can see ABC here. Let's grab this and let's have another ABC. But this ABC is not the intermediate; it's a minor. An ABC inside that ABC. Also, let's change the color to something else lighter to indicate that this is minor. And for B again, we are going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is obvious for me that this is the first wave, the second wave. Okay, we can argue that which points are 3, but I can say this is the third, the final destination, because usually the third waves are much longer. This is fourth. It has not been entered to the first uh, wave. This is good, and this is our fifth wave here, and as C. So I can see with that wave counting, I can see that this correction is almost ended. Um, why I'm actually uh, trying to um, counting the inside waves, the reason is that just to confirm that am I in the right path? Am I understanding these waves correctly? So that's a reason that I try to keep it as detailed as possible when I'm counting them to get sure. Okay, this is exactly okay. This is ABC. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yes, it seems that with those details, those minor waves are some sort of a confirmation to me. It's not irregular. It's not the technical analysis rule. This is my own personal rule that will just confirm your wave counting by seeing the waves inside each of those waves. And if they are what you're expecting, so I'm not expecting that these be here to be in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I'm seeing a very obvious ABC, it will be some sort of a confirmation. Okay, you are in a correct path. You're counting them correctly. Anyhow, what is important to me after these uh, countings and these things, let's draw a thread line here as well. This is going to be some sort of a channel. Um, not sure exactly how we can draw it perfectly, more accurately. I think we're done. Here I can see another fake out. This was a fake out. So this was not a breakout. As already described on Ethereum at the beginning of this video or streaming, and it went down, and you can see why it was a fake out because it started from here and it actually did a breakout, it did the fake out here, but afterwards it also respected. Oops, I did a terrible job here. I duplicated everything. Okay, it again respected to that line here after that fake out as well. And also uh, it- we have um, we have a very important principle. Let's find an example. It calls it calls polarity principle. Let me just draw this line, this zone here. You can see that it was a resistance zone. Its price reacted to that, and it was a breakout here. And sometime in the future, this breakout, usually when it comes to trend lines or any support and resistance level, it doesn't mean that it is done. It means that, okay, you will still have a valid zone, but now it, as due to a polarity principle, this resistance zone will turn up to the support zone. So here you can see the price just reacted to the same zone, but here as a support. Now it is preventing the price to moving to continue going down. Here it was vice versa. It actually prevented to move more forward. This is polarity principle. When we have a breakout on a support or resistance zone, they are still as important as they used to be, but their behavior will be changed, and they change their behavior to be, if they were support, they will be resistance. If they were resistance, they will be changed to be support. I will get rid of this one. I just came up with that. So as a retest, we already said that when we have a breakout, we have the breakout. Come back to our structure here. I was talking about the validity of this trend line. I can see breakout here. Why it is a breakout, not a fake out? Because when it actually did do this breakout, I will just say it wasn't breakout. I can see it now changes behavior. Trend lines also are support and resistance zones, but not horizontally with angle. So this is now behaving as a resistance, sorry, as support. It used to be a resistance, but it is now behaving as support. So still, after this fake out, it isn't still valid trend line because also it used to be stop the price to moving up, and after breakout, It is preventing the price to continue its bearish momentum. Now it is when it reaches that it is going up. So with that in mind, in our daily charts, if we go to our bigger perspective, if you remember on weekly chart, with that ABC, we we said that we are almost done because of the breakout and the waves that we counted, and now with these breakout also indicating also we are retesting it. Maybe we can see some sort of divergence on MACD as well, but I don't want to bring that up again. What is important is about the news that we had. Uh, it was for uh, 3 days ago, and I can see that 3 days ago, yes, that news seems to be very positive, and it's created very big, almost big green candles with some gaps in between them. Again, that's an indication of a strong uptrend. Of course, we are seeing a hammer. This is hammer. This is a candle pattern. I didn't talk about candle pattern today because I didn't find anything. But this is hammer, and as you can see, this is look like a hammer. It has a very short body on the uh, actually uh, close to the bottom side or the lower side of the candle, and it has a shadow or handle on the top. And these kind of candles, uh, they're saying that okay, the uptrend, the just started uptrend is going to be weakened. So this is not just a sort of a very strong probably because I'm seeing that hammer candle on daily chart. This is so important. Seeing them, you can almost see some sort of a thing here, but not a hammer, just like a doji candle. And we saw it at a very critical zone, which was a trend line, the upper trend line as a resistance level. And you can see when it just created, prices start reversing back and some sort of a reverse hammer, but the body is much wider. And when it got created, a shadow now this time below to that, you can see that price just this doesn't mean that any hammer it is going to be a reversal, but it is just an indication. You can see a hammer like what I'm showing you here, just here, but it never reverse because it is important when that hammer is going to get created. If I want to go back, you can see this is another support zone, right? Here is the support zone. I don't want to draw those arrows again for you to mess the chart up, but this is again you need to combine a lot, at least two or three things, two or three point of views in order to confirm one thing. Also you need to understand that this was an ABC, and at the end of this C, which you need to somehow also get sure that this is end of the C. Okay, it is on the support zone. Maybe you need to use Fibonacci the extensions to also check that out. But in the end, you can confirm. So creating a hammer just at the beginning of an uptrend like this doesn't make sense. It can be the case here as well. It doesn't indicating that it is going to be a reversal. As you can see, at least after this hammer, another hammer just got created because it was indicating that okay, the trend is not as strong as we are expecting. That was also a nice point. We go to the hourly chart. Let's get rid of this hammer text here because it is not the case in the hourly chart, of course. But anyhow, you can see that we have these much better. You can see the almost a reversal on the hourly chart here. It is that's the reason you are seeing that hammer on the daily chart. But anyhow, what is important. Let's go to 1 hour to see the details. Let's zoom out a little bit. See the details of this uh, correction, this short correction here after these impulsive, a breakout. Now I can fix the details here. A breakout and then a correction. And if this is a correction, if it is a B, C, something like that, we don't really care counting waves on hourly chart. It is not an elegant way of doing things. Uh, because looking at these hourly charts, you should not really make decisions by the patterns or things here. Of course, they are going to work, but because they have been created in a very shorter period, so their validity is shorter as well. So they are not as strong as we see these patterns on daily, weekly, or at least 4 hour chart um, in comparison to 1 hour at least. So I can confirm that this uh, correction has been ended because it ended just, it created a falling wedge, very detailed, again on hourly chart. I really don't like to do that, but I also want to introduce this here. It's a falling wedge. Probably I'm going to see some sort of divergence. As you can see, we have a very strong divergence, very strong. Let's add that. Um, it's a very strong divergence. Again, you're creating lower lows on price, but you're creating higher lows on MACD. This is divergence, again, indicating that it is reversed. If this is indicating, I can also draw a Fibonacci extension, and not extension, retracement. You can see it is on the 15 level. So that's one reason. Another reason is the falling wedge. Let's get rid of this. It is so crowded. If the Fibonacci level is one indication, there's very strong divergence, the second indication. The falling wedge is the third indication. The ABC wave we are seeing is the fourth indication. The breakout, not the breakout you're seeing on the chart, I mean this hourly breakout. The breakout is already there, is the daily breakout of the very daily structure, this big thread line that's cut off my screen as some sort of horizontal line. This short breakout here is our, I don't know if it was fourth or fifth indication that this correction of this wave is done. So go back to 4 hour. I just want to be sure by zooming in, just get rid of these things. I'm sure that now here I know this correction structure with that fifth indication that I just shared, it is done. Now it is time to move up. And because the daily structure just broken, so we had this retest, it's confirmed that it's a um, breakout. It is really important because it is a very important, strong. This is not hourly, this is daily structure. Even you can call it a weekly. I can call it a daily structure. This daily structure just broken, confirmed in the hourly that it is done and it is moving up. So yes, I can say that the news that we saw on Microsoft, it seems so promising. So in medium term, it is not just immediately a jump up like what I draw here, but the future, I'm guessing that it is going to be moving up. To summarize everything, we actually took a look at these charts. We didn't use any indicator. There's sometimes MACD just to check the divergences, the reversals, to double check them, not utilize it as the main tool. It is a secondary tool in my pocket always. But if by looking at the chart from the weekly, not so much details on weekly, I usually don't spend too much time. I did it in this streaming just for educational purposes. But you can see that how we can analyze these charts by looking at the price only. And this is one of the methods called price action. You just look at the price action. Um, let's get rid of these old tools here. By looking at the price action, how it is behaving, how it is going up and down, by looking at the candles, by looking at the patterns that they have been created with all these things, you can actually um, analyze the chart and be aware that none of the things that I shared with you here is not for the trading purposes. It is only and only for educational purposes. I'm going to repeat this always because I want to be completely clear that you should not trade on them. You should have strategies. You should have a proven strategy. You need to choose your strategy, how you want to trade. Maybe I'm going to talk about these things in the future, and you need to stick to your strategy, not just by watching a channel or a content on YouTube or Twitch, like me, streaming somewhere and deciding, okay, Microsoft is increasing, let's buy that. It is not the case. You should not do that. Just I want to share how you can utilize this knowledge to analyze your price charts. I think it is enough for today. I'm happy that I was sharing this with you. I have a Discord uh, server. It is open. You can find it in the somewhere in the description or about somewhere in YouTube or Twitch. Then you can click on that. You will jump into Discord. If you have any question regarding the contents here, feel free to put comments on YouTube as well if you want. Feel free to send contents on Twitch chat if you want to ask. But Discord is the best place, I guess, if you have any question you want to communicate about any of the contents, or you have questions or doubts about what I've just shared with you. Look at them as, again, educational content. And if you have any question with that perspective, I'm happy to help you. Thank you very much.